Well, hey there, everyone. My name is Craig Wilson, and I've got Najibe Castillo here. We're going to introduce ourselves in just a few moments, but we did want to let you know that this is one of our continuing series in our parent webinars for supporting you with your child as a remote learner. So let's go on to, let me go on to the next slide here. Oops, sorry about that. So again, my name is Craig Wilson. I am the Director of Digital Learning, and I'm going to put Miss Sula up here on the screen so that you can see her as well. So here she is. Miss Sula, you want to introduce yourself and let them know that this will be in Spanish as well?
Hello, my name is Najibe Sula, and I'm one of the digital learning coaches, and I'm going to be also translating. Hola, padres y familias. Le queríamos decir hola del Departamento de Tecnología. Yo ahora estoy con el director de aprendizaje digital, Mr. Wilson, y yo estoy al lado, Najibe. Y le vamos a estar haciendo una presentación de cómo puede usted ayudar a sus hijos y hijas.
All right, thank you so much. So yeah, like Ms. Sula said, we are going to be doing this in two languages at the same time. We chose to do this instead of having two different meetings going on at the same time. So it may slow down, but actually that's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's talk about what the point of our meeting is today. So we are going to help you once again to find the support that you need. We want to review just quickly some of the learning systems that we have. In particular, this is a topic that's come up with some of our parents, which is, you know, okay, I'm good with Google Classroom, but now I'm having a problem with turning in my homework in Google Classroom. So can you help me with that? So yeah, we're going to do that this evening. We're going to give you some tips and tricks and ideas, way to organize your remote learning, and then give you guys some reminders and expectations for remote learning at the house. Ms. Sula.
El propósito de esta reunión es para ayudar a los padres a que encuentren apoyo. También vamos a repasar los diferentes sistemas de aprendizaje que tiene Temple ISD, específicamente cómo entregar las tareas por Google Classroom. Y también, especialmente para los estudiantes que están en casa, cómo ellos se pueden organizar en su tiempo. Y también darles algunos recordatorios y las expectativas que tiene el distrito para ustedes.
Okay, thanks. The scary part was I understood everything she said. If you do have any questions, we do ask that you use the question and answer feature that is on the side of your screen right now. In fact, I forgot to open mine up to look at it. There we go, show Q&A. Okay, I see it now. I don't have any questions just yet, but if we do, please put them in there. We will take a moment to pause and check those Q&A every now and then. We do ask your patience a little bit though, because there is a delay between us speaking and you responding and then us seeing it. It's about a minute delay. So we're not ignoring your question if we do see it, but we're getting it about a minute after you posted it.
Y también le queremos recordar, si tienen alguna pregunta, de por favor ponerlo en la sección de preguntas de Q y A, que se encuentra en la mano arriba seguramente para ustedes. Y también que tengan un poco de paciencia porque cuando ustedes ponen la pregunta, nosotros vamos a ver esa pregunta como al minuto, a 2 minutos. Entonces, si no contestamos en ese momento es porque todavía no nos ha llegado la pregunta. Back to you, Mr. Wilson.
Back to me. All right, so a reminder again that we do have a website that's dedicated just for you. It is called parents.tisd.org. That's all you have to type in. There's no www in front of it. You just put in parents.tisd.org. And on that website, we have it in both English and in Spanish. At the top of it, we're going to have those frequently asked questions. So we're listening to you as you're calling our help desk anyways, and we're putting those needs up to the top. And then there's going to be some help videos and some documents out there as well for you. And finally, we'll show you how to get some of that technical support.
Le queríamos recordar que tenemos un sitio web para los padres que se encuentra ahí en parents.tisd.org Y ahí lo pueden encontrar toda la información del distrito para ayuda de padres y también para sus hijos en inglés y en español. Hay preguntas frecuentes que van a estar ahí con las respuestas. Hay videos y documentos de cómo pueden entregar tareas y contactar a sus maestras y también cómo tener ayuda y apoyo técnico.
All right. Oh, and there's tips and tricks in there too. So sorry about that. Forgot to add that one more bullet.
Y también hay puntos de ayuda para ustedes también.
All right, so, and remind you, this is what the main page would look like when you go to parents.tisd.org. So across the top, you see the all-important phone number, 254-215-6177. That's the most important number for you. And then each one of those colored buttons on the bottom will give you a little bit more specific help. There might be some videos, might be some documents in there, some how-to things. And then finally, you'll notice on the bottom of that first screen you go to is, it'll say click here to go to textbot.tisd.org. That is where you or your child can put in a help desk ticket.
Cuando vayan a la página de apoyo de padres, arriba van a ver el número telefónico. Si necesitan cualquier ayuda, pueden llamar a ese número, es el 254-215-6177. Y después van a ver 4 botones abajo, uno para apoyo educativo para padres. También si tienen una pregunta de su equipo electrónico, cómo usarlo, ahí va en el verde. Si necesita ver videos de ayuda, el amarillo. Y si se quiere conectar en línea, en la parte rojo. Entonces, es un sitio muy importante para ustedes.
All right. So there's a couple different ways to get there. We did show you how to go to parents.tisd.org. The other way you can get to it is if you start out on our main webpage at www.tisd.org. If you hover over the area that says families and right 2 things down below that, it'll say family help. Let's see, I think it says, let me wait till the animation gets there again. Families, Family Remote Learning Help Hub.
Otra manera de ir al sitio de los padres es si van al sitio web del distrito, que es www.tisd.org, y ahí cuando vayan tienen que entrar a familias y después ahí hay un botón que apretan para que vayan a la página de los padres.
All right, so we continue to see this as our #1 issue that we have in Temple ISD, and that's that your kids are working at home and they are not able to get into the resources they need. If they try to log into Google Classroom, if they try to go into Clever, they'll get this mean message that says that their access has been denied. And just as a reminder, the reason why is because they are logged in onto your home computer, but your profile is the one that's working, not the student's profile. So they must be logged into their school profile to get into their schoolwork. And on the next screen here, we'll show you what that looks like.
El problema número 1 que nosotros hemos visto cuando los estudiantes no pueden meterse a las clases de los profesores o a los más es que no están poniéndose en su perfil del estudiante. Pueden estar con el email del padre o de la otro hermano, pero no el suyo propio. Entonces, en esa presentación vamos a ver cómo ellos se pueden meter con su propio perfil para que todos los programas les funcionen bien.
All right, so again, just to make sure your kids are logged in as themselves, and if you're not sure how to do that, again, you can go out to our Parent Help Hub, and one of the very first things you're going to find out up at the top is going to be a document that is a step-by-step on how to put your child's profile on your home computer. And if you like videos instead, right above it says click here for the video. You can use either one.
Entonces, para tener las instrucciones de cómo su hijo o hija se puede meter con su propio número de identificación, es ir a la página de padres y hay un documento que está justo arriba en la parte de inglés y español de cómo ellos se pueden meter con su propia identificación. Si necesitan también un video, pueden ver ahí arriba que dice, aquí está el video de cómo hacerlo.
Gracias. Este es en español y inglés también. Oh, you said that. I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
that was perfect. I'm saying your Spanish is great.
Okay, we're going to hold up here and we're going to see if we have any questions in the Q&A. Ms. Sula, I don't see any questions out there currently. Do you?
No, not for
No,
now.
I don't. Okay, so without any questions out there, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part of our presentation, which is the learning management systems. So just as a quick reminder, we do have Seesaw, excuse me, is what we're using in pre-kindergarten and some of our kindergarten classrooms around the district. And then in most of the other buildings for kindergarten through middle school, we are using Google Classroom, and the high school uses Schoology in grades 9 through 12.
Ahora vamos a estar hablando de los sistemas de aprendizaje que tenemos para que sus estudiantes puedan tener sus clases cuando están en casa. Los niños de pre-kinder están usando el programa que se llama Seesaw, que se ve a la mano izquierda. Después los niños de kinder hasta octavo están usando el programa Google Classroom. Y los niños que están en high school usan el programa Schoology. Y esos son los tres sistemas que hemos usado para todo Temple ISD.
Okay. And pretty much everything that the kids need to get to is going to be through Clever. Clever is our one-stop shop out there. So we have all of our software applications are out there. It could be some of the applications your teachers may want your students to use. There's the music program out there, Quaver. I know that all of our music teachers are asking the kids to go through Quaver. Quaver will be out here on this side as well. So think of Clever as your one-stop shop. The way you get to it is you go into the upper right-hand corner, you click on Clever, Clever Portal, and the kids will log in with their user ID and password, which if they're on a Chromebook or in Chrome, is going to take them straight into here, and they can just go through and find the link they need and double click on it.
Ahora el sistema Clever es donde están todos los programas y las aplicaciones que los estudiantes usan en el colegio. Y es bien fácil ir. Si están usando un Chromebook del distrito, ya está marcado como uno de los favoritos arriba. Entonces ellos apretan en Clever y los lleva directamente. Si están usándolo en casa, ellos pueden ir a el sitio web clever.tisd.org. Is it clever.tisd.org or .com?
Yep, .org.
Oh, okay, sí, perdón, es .org al final. Y ahí ellos también se pueden meter a Clever y ver todas las aplicaciones. Ese es el sistema donde ellos van a encontrar sus libros, programas de matemáticas, Google Classroom también está ahí. Ahí tienen que ir a Clever.
Yeah.
Es muy importante.
Yeah. All right, and for our little ones, they have Clever as well. If you have an iPad at your home, especially if you borrowed one from our school district, their kindergarten teacher should have already given them, and their pre-kindergarten teacher, and I guess even first grade, gave them their Clever codes, which kind of look like a little QR code like that, and they can use the camera on their iPad, and it takes them right into Clever once they click on the app on their iPad.
Ahora para los niños más pequeños de pre-kinder y kinder, en vez de que ellos mismos escriban sus dígitos y su contraseña, es más fácil que le demos, le llaman un badge, que es como un dibujo, que ellos abren Clever y después muestran ese dibujo y se va directamente a su portal de Clever. Entonces es más fácil y no tienen que tipear su información.
Okay, so once again, we've already talked about this, that Seesaw is used pretty much by pre-kindergarten in some of our kindergarten classrooms.
Ahora los niños de pre-kinder, ellos están usando un programa que se llama Seesaw y se puede usar en teléfono, tableta o en el computador.
Sí. This is kind of a snapshot of what your Google Classroom might look like. Now, you will probably have more than 3 classroom cards, but it'll look something similar to this if you're using Google Classroom.
Y los estudiantes que están usando Google Classroom se va a ver bien parecido a esta página que ven ahora. Sus estudiantes seguramente van a tener más de 3 clases, pero va a verse bien parecido a lo que ven ahora.
And in Google Classroom, your teacher should have organized it very similar to this, where you have your announcements up here at the top, your important information will be in the middle, and then this week's work assignments should be the third thing that you see down.
Y en cada clase de sus estudiantes de lectura o matemática o ciencia, como acá ven es una clase de ciencia, debería estar organizada con los anuncios arriba. Después tienen información importante de esa clase específica y después empiezan por la semana que está pasando ahora, como ahora van a ver semana 4, porque estamos en semana 4, y después la próxima semana va a estar arriba, semana 5.
So one thing too that's important, your specialist teachers have asked me to go ahead and say this evening. Please don't forget that your children also have work that's due in music, art, and PE, and they do have Google Classrooms for all 3 of those that they need to join their class, check in on there at least once a week, and see what their work is, their assignments that they have to do for those classrooms.
Ahora es muy importante que también se acuerden que todos los estudiantes tienen clases de música, arte y gimnasia. Y ahí también van a tener sus trabajos y las tareas que tienen que entregar para tener una calificación para esas clases. Y todo eso va a estar en Google Classroom.
All right. And another question that we get very often from parents, and we're going to show you this live in a few minutes, but I just wanted to show you on this screen, is how do I know what's due for my child? What are the assignments that are due? What do I need to know? So there are a couple different ways. This is 3 different ways that you can check on your child's homework. If they're at their Google Classroom main page where they see all of their different Google Classroom cards, if they click on that to do, and we're going to show this to you live, but if they click on that to do, it will show them all the work that they have due for every class. The other thing they could do is if they are still on that Google Classroom main page, if they look on each one of those cards, work that's due, assignments that due will show up right in the white space on those cards. Now, while they're inside each one of these classrooms, they can go to the top and look to see where it says view your work, and they can see their work that's due just for that classroom right there. And we're going to show you this live in just a few minutes, but I wanted to prep that before you went in.
Ahora, le vamos a mostrar cómo los estudiantes pueden entregar sus tareas y trabajos por Google Classroom. Hay varias maneras y también le vamos a mostrar paso a paso, pero antes que vayamos paso a paso les voy a mostrar las 3 maneras principales de cómo entregar sus tareas. Si están en Google Classroom, antes que abren sus clases, hay un botón que se llama To Do, y eso significa cosas que tengo que hacer o cosas que hago. Y ahí se apretan en To Do, van a ver todas las tareas que su estudiante tiene que hacer. También en cada clase, si ven acá, en la clase de matemática están todas las tareas que su estudiante tiene que hacer y después en la de lectura todas las tareas que tienen que hacer ahí. O también si abren cada clase específica, arriba van a ver el trabajo que tienen que hacer.
Okay, so before we go on to this one, let me go ahead and go into a pretend student's classroom that I've got right now. And let me switch over to that screen. So this would be for an example, this could be a student's main Google Classroom page that they see. Now your child will probably see more than just 4 classes, but for demonstration, This is all we have out here right now.
Entonces, ese es como un ejemplo de un estudiante de lo que ellos pueden ver cuando entren a Google Classroom. Este estudiante solamente tiene 4 clases, es un ejemplo nomás. Su estudiante va a tener más clases. Normalmente son como 7 a 9 clases que ellos pueden tener.
Okay, so back to right here, there's 2 different ways I can see what's due. I can look on each one of the cards, and if there's work due, it'll show me right here. In fact, I can even go straight to that assignment by clicking on the link, and that'll let me go do that assignment.
Ahora, la primera manera que los estudiantes pueden ver sus trabajos es yendo debajo de cada clase, como ahí le está mostrando con el mouse. Están todas las tareas y trabajos que su hijo o hija tienen que hacer y ellos pueden ir directamente a esa tarea si le hacen clic en esa tarea.
Yep. So this is the other way. Up here in the corner, you see this to do. If I click on the to do, this is going to show me for all of my classes what I currently have assigned to me, any work that's showing up missing for my teacher, and then it'll also show me what work has been completed. I've turned it in already. So let me go back out to, there we go. Okay.
La segunda manera es yendo a la mano izquierda, hay un botón que dice To Do, entonces voy a apretar. Y ahí yo puedo ver todas las cosas que tengo que hacer de todas las clases. También arriba puedo ver todo lo que no ha hecho todavía o que no me han dado calificaciones porque no lo he hecho. Y el último es las cosas que yo ya he hecho, que ya han terminado.
Okay, so let me go back to my classes. So I'm going to go directly into one class and show you how I can see what's due. So for this example, I'll go into my math class. So I can click on my card. I go to my classwork. Right here where it says view your work. If I click on it, same idea. I see everything that's been assigned. If my teacher has sent any work back to me, to, just basically the same thing as if the kids are in class and they get their work returned with a grade on it. And I can also see if I've had any work that's missing.
Ahora yo voy a ir a una clase para mostrarlo cómo puedo encontrar el trabajo en esa clase. Entonces yo voy arriba donde dice Classwork. Y ahí yo puedo ver en la mano arriba que dice veo el trabajo. Y ahí yo puedo ver todo el trabajo que yo tengo, cosas que están ahora que lo tengo que hacer. También puedo ver trabajo que no ha hecho. Y también puedo ver trabajo que ya he hecho o ha entregado.
Let me get all the way back out of here, back to my classes. Okay, we're going to show you guys how to turn in work here in a minute, but we're going to look first to see if there's any questions or comments, anything in the, I don't see anything in the live session. Ms. Sula, I don't see anything out there, do you?
Okay. No veo preguntas.
Okay, so let me go back into the presentation for just a moment. Whoops. All right, let me make this big again so we can all see it. So we just showed you how to look for signed, missing, and done. And now we're going to show you how to turn in your work. So we're going to explain it a little bit first, but then we'll actually show you live a couple different ways how to turn in your work. So this way that we're going to show you, for example, is if you have something that you had to do outside Google Classroom. So for example, maybe your teacher asked you to do work on a worksheet, or they asked you to take a picture, or they asked you to do a little video of you in your home doing something. So when you find your assignment, so for example, this one says what's a shape, and then the assignment was find a solid object in your house and find it, if one that has a face that's a rectangle or square, and take a picture of it and send it to me. So I click on view assignment. when I'm in View Assignment, I'll see right here, it'll say, once I turn in, what will it say? So it'll say,
it will say turned in.
Oh, I'm
submitted. Maybe.
So a work to submit, something like that, or submit
Yeah.
work. It'll say submit.
Submit work.
I covered it up. It'll say submit work. I'm going to find it from a file in this case, and when you do that, it's going to go right out and start browsing Google. And so if you took a picture, or if you had an assignment, it's going to show up right here, and you just click on it, and you turn it in. And we're going to show you how to do that live here in just a second. So again, this is just the general steps.
Entonces ahora le vamos a mostrar de cómo ustedes pueden entregar un trabajo en lo cual tienen que tomar una foto o darle un video a la profesora haciendo el trabajo. Como por ejemplo, la tarea que puso la maestra es ¿cuál es una figura? Y dice, por favor, busque un objeto en su casa que es un cuadrado o un rectángulo. Entonces, tienen que tomarle una foto con su teléfono de que ustedes tengan. Ajá, con la tableta, el computador. Tomar una foto y lo van a poner eso en su computador para que lo puedan encontrar después. Y cuando vayan para enviar el trabajo, tienen que buscar dónde lo pusieron y después normalmente está en las partes recientes. Si recién tomaron una foto, lo van a encontrar en las partes recientes y después el último paso es entregar el trabajo. Entonces van a apretar el botón que dice Turn In para entregar.
Okay. All right, so let's, I think our next slide, or the next thing we're going to do is actually show everybody what this looks like. So, oh yeah, because we're right at questions. So hold on one second. Let me go back out and back in as a student. Okay, so I think that, yes, that was in Mr. Wilson's math class. And I'm going to go to classroom. Oh, and this is the part, remember, Ms. Sulab, you and I need to talk this together because I can only do it once as this kid. So first we went into the math class.
Entonces, lo primero que van a hacer es ir a la clase que tienen que entregar el trabajo, por ejemplo, la clase de matemática.
And then we clicked on classwork.
Y voy a apretar en classwork arriba.
So here was my assignment. What's the shape? I click to expand.
Entonces voy a apretar en la tarea que dice que es una figura para que se abra.
I click on view assignment.
Y voy a apretar en ver el trabajo o ver la tarea.
So here's what first thing we have to do is add or create. So this is when you have something that, again, it's a picture, or it's you did something maybe in a Google Doc or something outside of Google Classroom. And so then I would click on add or create.
Ahora, esto es cuando yo tengo que entregar una foto o un documento que yo hice o un video que yo hice. Voy a apretar en el signo de más para agregar lo que yo hice.
So I clicked on add or create, and then in this case, I'm going to go look for a file.
Y como yo voy a ver una foto, voy a apretar en el file.
Now, sometimes before we do this, just as a little, let's take a little side trip here. Sometimes your teacher may have said, create a Google document here. And if you did that, you could just click on Google Doc and it would do the same thing.
Ahora, si la maestra dijo entreguen un documento en la tarea, ustedes pueden apretar el signo de más y ir solamente a documentos y se abre un documento.
But in this case, we have a picture. We took a picture on our phone, and so I'm going to click on File.
Pero en este caso tenemos una foto, entonces apreté en File.
And I'm going to go to Recent because it was one of the last things I did.
Y voy a apretar en los recientes porque es una de las últimas cosas que yo he hecho.
So I look, and this is my most recent file. When I click on it one time, it's going to go ahead and send it.
Y cuando lo aprieto, se va a poner en azul y lo voy a poner para que se vaya la tarea.
And there it is. It's ready to send. And if that wasn't the right one, I could, just click on delete on the X to delete it and do it again.
Y ahí ven que se puso en el trabajo. Si esa no fue la foto correcta que yo necesito, puedo poner una X y hacer todo el proceso otra vez con la foto correcta.
This is the important part. If I don't click on turn it in, I haven't turned it into my teacher. It's just like I did my homework and it's in my backpack, but if I don't put it in the basket, I didn't turn it in.
Y esa parte es una de las más importantes, es que tienen que apretar el botón azul de Turn In para entregar la tarea. Es lo mismo si su hijo o hija lleva su tarea en su mochila, está hecha, pero no la entregó. Si no la entrega, no va a tener calificación.
Right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Turn It In. It says, are you sure? I'm going to say Turn In.
Entonces me va a preguntar, ¿está segura que lo quiere entregar? Y voy a decir sí, Turn In.
Y es todo. It's all done. That's all I had to do. So now that assignment has been turned in. So let's go and look at another example where you don't have to turn in anything. You don't have to show something on your computer. You actually do your work inside of Google Classroom.
Entonces ahora vamos a ver otro ejemplo que no tienen que entregar una foto, un documento, pero hicieron otro tipo de tarea. Entonces vamos a ver de cómo es ese trabajo, cómo entregarlo.
So in this case, I'm going to go back out to my main class page and I'm going to go into Ms. Sula's reading class.
Entonces ahora vamos a ir a otra clase, a la clase de Ms. Sula de lectura.
And when I go into Classroom,
y voy a ir a Classwork.
I can see that I have an exit ticket. It's due tomorrow, so let me do it now.
Y veo que tengo un ticket para salir de la clase para la semana y que lo tengo que entregar antes de mañana. Entonces voy a hacer ese.
Click to expand and then click on View Assignment or the form.
Entonces lo voy a expandir para ver lo que tengo que hacer y puedo hacer cualquiera de los dos, ver la tarea o hacerlo directamente con la cajita ahí.
Oh no, I forgot to give myself permission. So yeah, I am signing in my profile, but we forgot to give ourselves permission. In any case, all I would have had to do was, it was going to be a form and I would click on submit and that's it. It would be done and turned in.
Y cuando pasa eso, es que la maestra, como nosotros nos equivocamos, no le dimos permiso al estudiante. Pero si eso pasa, solamente le pregunta a la maestra, ¿me puede dar permiso, por favor? Y la maestra lo va a corregir ahí. Pero como en este ejemplo, es bien fácil, ellos van y llenan ese formulario que está ahí y se entrega automáticamente.
Right, there's nothing extra to turn in. It would just, the form would go automatically to the teacher. So our apologies. To put this together, we had to use a pretend student and we forgot to give that pretend student permission to our class.
Y disculpa por esa, se nos olvidó darle al estudiante de ejemplo para que lo pueda ver. Entonces, disculpa en nuestra parte.
Yeah. So that poor kid, he didn't have access. Okay, so let's go back to now. I think we were right here. So do we have any questions out there that we need to check on, Ms. Sula? I don't see any.
No veo preguntas, no questions.
I think we're good. Okay. So let's talk about some organization and tips to help your child at home. This comes from our curriculum department. They wanted us to share this with you.
Ahora vamos a ver algunos consejos para que su hijo se pueda organizar mejor y para que tenga una experiencia buena de aprendizaje.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about here is organization, and we're going to go through this bullet by bullet. So I'll read a bullet and then I'll ask to have it translated by Ms. Sula. So it's important that your child has one location that's theirs while they're learning and they can always stay at that location. if you got a kitchen table and that's okay, the kids can work at the kitchen table and then take their materials away, that's nice. Otherwise, maybe there's a desk in your home or a table that they can have in their room that they can use.
Ahora es muy importante que ustedes tengan un espacio uniforme para su estudiante que siempre vaya a ese lugar. Puede ser un escritorio, una mesa que ellos siempre usan, para que sepan que ese es el espacio que ellos tienen que usar para hacer el colegio. Y eso es muy importante para que tengan sus hábitos buenos.
And then next, you want to make sure that your child has a routine during the week, and that you might want to develop a schedule with them. So this is a sample schedule. Oops, let me go back one. This is a sample out here. Maybe on you're going to do your reading every day. You're going to do your math every day, but your specials classes you may do. Like the examples they give here, maybe on Monday is PE and on Tuesday is arts.
Ahora, una de las cosas bien importantes para que ellos tengan un horario fijo es que ustedes como familia desarrollen un horario para ellos que designe cada día de la semana para trabajar en las actividades del día. Por ejemplo, todos los días de 8 a 9 vas a hacer matemática, después todos los días vas a hacer lectura. Y para las clases especiales pueden hacer un horario de, digamos, lunes y miércoles vas a hacer la clase de gimnasia, los martes van a hacer arte, jueves música y el viernes hacer trabajo que no ha terminado de esas clases.
If your child's in middle school or high school, you want to also help them develop a schedule. So help them schedule out their day. If you know that, for example, maybe they're doing better at, excuse me, reading in the morning, then maybe you want to ask them to do their reading work in the morning. But they need those time and they need to make sure that they're completing their assignments, and they do need your help every day to make sure that they're staying on task.
Ahora los niños que ya son más grandes en la escuela secundaria, también es importante para ellos que tengan un horario fijo todos los días y que ellos pueden completar ese trabajo todos los días. Como padres es bien importante que les recuerden, aunque sean mayores los niños, que tengan que hacer el trabajo y que se sienten y que hagan sus clases.
Another thing you can do is make sure that those devices are charged overnight so they're ready to go. If you, excuse me, if you have a Chromebook, make sure it's charged. Make sure those batteries are nice and fresh on the phone or on the tablet and their iPad. Really important.
Otra cosa que es muy, muy importante para que trabaje su hijo es que se aseguren que su hijo cargue su computador o su tableta durante la noche para que esté listo para el próximo día.
Finally, the last thing on this slide that we have is have everything ready to go. Maybe set it out in the evening so that they're ready to go first thing in the morning, or if you are going to do in the morning, like maybe while right after breakfast, have a real set time to have everything all set out. That way it'll just help them stay organized and they won't be as frustrated.
Y lo último que le queríamos recordar es que antes que se vaya a la cama para el día o que termine el día, que coloque todos sus libros y sus materiales listo para la próxima mañana, para que no tenga que estar esa mañana buscando, oh, ¿dónde dejé mi lápiz? ¿O dónde está ese libro? Está todo listo como estaría en la escuela para que ellos estén listos para aprender.
All right, and then we're going to talk about the assignments, their work that they have to do on a regular basis. So just kind of the same idea here that we, excuse me, let me stop there, that we talked about just a few minutes ago. Check those assignments in Google Classroom if you have a child in elementary or middle school. And there's a very similar thing for the high school. They have a week at a glance, like a paper sheet, but they can also go into Schoology and see what's coming up due.
También es bien importante, vamos a hablar de cómo ellos pueden hacer y organizar su tiempo para las tareas. Como les mostramos antes, ellos deberían revisar, bueno, es bien, yo creo que todos los lunes ver qué tienen que hacer para la semana en ese que se llama To Do. Y también en el high school, cuando usan Schoology, ellos ven una hoja que se llama Week at a Glance en Schoology que les muestra todo lo que tiene que terminar esa semana.
Now, this is very important. We, the district, gets our funding by your child's attendance. So attendance is based on daily completion of assignments for each class. And what that means is just make sure that your child is logging in every day. If they're in elementary school, they have to check in and do some work with their teacher. If they're in middle school or high school, there's going to probably be a question of the day for each period, and they need to make sure that they do that so that we can make sure that not only are they getting attendance for you to show that they were in class, but also so that we can get our funding from the state. So there's no need to work ahead. They can just work on today's stuff. No need to stress them out.
Ahora es muy importante la atendencia para los estudiantes. Todo el dinero que las escuelas tenemos es basada por asistencia y los niños tienen que estar en la escuela todos los días. Entonces, es muy importante que ellos hagan el trabajo diario, que se metan a las clases de team meets para que vea la maestra que está asistiendo. En el high school, ellos también a veces tienen como la pregunta del día que tienen que hacer para que ellos tengan la asistencia ese día.
Like we said before, make sure that you've marked your work as done. Oops, I went ahead there. Sorry about that. Oh, I keep going forward. So make sure that they've marked their work as done or they've turned it in their learning management system.
Y acuérdense que ellos tienen que marcar su trabajo como hecho o también lo tienen que entregar para que la maestra sepa que lo hicieron.
Okay, a couple more points in here. Keep that inbox clean for the kids' email. It'll make it easier for them to see any kind of announcement that they may have from their teachers. Help them take ownership of that learning. And then the most important thing here, your teachers are working very hard and they have lots of kids and lots of classes, and this is very difficult for them. So give them a little grace and be patient and allow them at least 24 hours to respond to any kind of messages that you might send to them.
Acuérdense que todos los estudiantes tienen una casilla de correo electrónico y es importante que lo mantengan limpia y vacía para que tengan los anuncios correctos de sus maestras. También ayude a sus hijos que tengan responsabilidad de su aprendizaje, que ellos puedan aprender bien ellos solos. Es muy importante que ellos hagan eso. Y también las maestras y los maestros están trabajando muy, muy bien y duros para que sus hijos tengan una experiencia buena de aprendizaje. Entonces, por favor, espere al menos 24 horas para que los maestros puedan responderlos a ustedes.
One more thing we just want to tell you before we leave this area is about live sessions. These are about the times when your teacher has asked for your child to come and join their class live while it's happening. So we want to make sure that if you see in the student assignments in the Google Classroom, or if they send you a reminder, that we need everybody in class at 9 o'clock on Monday morning, please make sure your child is there at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. So in elementary, they do have live sessions every day. They're expected to show up live every day. And in middle and high schools, they're going to have scheduled live events for each one of their classes at least one time per week.
Es muy importante que sus hijos estén participando en las clases, en las teams que se llaman los live sessions. Los niños que están de pre-kinder a sexto básico lo están teniendo todos los días, tienen sus clases. Y los niños que están en la secundaria, cada clase está live por lo menos una vez a las semanas. Entonces, es muy importante que ellos participen en esos.
And to make sure that they're on time for their live stream, kind of like we told you on this one, that there's a little bit of a delay. So you want to make sure that your child gets to the classroom in their live session about 10 minutes early to check on those connections, make sure their microphone is working, their camera is working, let their teacher know that they're waiting to come into the classroom.
También queremos que animen a sus hijos, que a veces se demora un poquito de tiempo para tener la conexión correcta, entonces que inicien la sesión de transmisión en vivo un poquito antes, como unos 5 minutos antes de que empiece, para tener una conexión buena.
Let's see, and then this is just to help out. Make sure that that background noise and the distractions for your child are limited. It'll help both. It'll help the kids that are in the classroom who may see your child on the screen so that they don't get distracted, but it'll also help your child be more focused in on the lesson.
También para que sus hijos se pueden enfocar y tener mejor concentración, por favor limite los ruidos de fondo y las distracciones que pueden ver en la casa para que ellos se puedan conectar muy bien.
And the last thing on this slide is if you do need to ask your teacher a question for your child, if you could please email those questions during these live events. Your teacher really wants to be able to provide the best opportunity for all of her or his children, and when they are having to answer those important questions from a parent, but they're having to answer them live, think about it as the same as if they were in a classroom and there were 15 parents standing around in the room. If all those parents keep asking the teacher question, it's going to slow down the process and the kids may not actually learn as well.
Una cosa que es bien importante es que si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta, más como hemos visto esto más en los padres, que ellos empiezan a hablar o tener preguntas para la maestra, y eso a veces puede ser una distracción para los otros estudiantes. Entonces, todas esas preguntas que los padres pueden tener, les pedimos que por favor le mande una carta o llame después a la maestra para que la maestra ahí se comunique con usted en otro tiempo, no cuando está enseñando a la clase.
So this is typically where we would ask if there's any questions, but I just looked out there in the Q&A and we must be doing so well, Ms. Sula. There's nobody asking us questions. So 2 real quick reminders, and then we're going to call it quits for the evening. Just to remind you that we do use Microsoft Teams, and it is available if you're using a phone. It's available as an app, and that the students do use their logins from school to get into Microsoft Teams.
Okay. También le queremos recordar que como distrito todavía estamos usando Microsoft Teams para tener las clases en vivo. Se pueden poner la aplicación en sus teléfonos usando Google Play o también pueden usarlo en el computador y los niños se tienen que poner con su propio número de identificación y la contraseña.
And then last reminder, we do have Family Access, which is our way of communicating with you. And in Family Access, it may look something similar to this where you can check your child's attendance. You can find out what schedule they have so that you know what classes they may need to be in at any one time. A lot of important information here in Family Access, and just contact your school and they'll be able to help you get set up.
Otra cosa que le queremos acordar que tienen es el acceso familiar por Skyward y ahí pueden encontrar la asistencia de sus hijos, las calificaciones, calendarios que manda la escuela, mensajes que le pueden mandar sus profesores o la directora. Entonces es muy importante que tengan acceso a eso.
Oops, these are all the different things we were going to, well, we did talk about them. So that is it for us this evening. We want to thank you for being here and for watching this this very important seminar for you guys. And we want to remind you again, there's two ways that you can reach us, parents.tisd.org, or feel free to call us at 254-215-6177.
Entonces, muchas gracias por asistir. Estamos acá para ayudarles. Entonces, si necesitan ayuda, pueden ir al sitio web que se encuentra ahí o los pueden llamar al 254-215-6177. Otra vez, muchas gracias.
And that's it. We're going to make sure that this is available tomorrow. Same link that you clicked on tonight to get to the webinar itself. If you click on that link again tomorrow, this recording will be available for you to watch again.
Y también si quieren ver esa presentación otro día o si quieren mostrarle a sus hijos cómo hacer algo, esta presentación va a estar grabada y va a estar en el link que apretaron hoy día para ir a esa reunión. Muchas gracias.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. Have a very good evening. And from everyone here at Temple ISD, we wish your child well, and we look forward to seeing you again in person.
Ok, pues tengan buen día y gracias por estar en Temple ISD.
Bye-bye.